Hi, everybody. Are we ready to start? Am I good? Here we go. It's soft skills time, ladies and gentlemen. We are cool for the summer on soft skills. I am super thrilled to be here as part of Summer School for Data Leaders here with the incredible Carruthers and Jackson pair. I just love listening to them. I can listen to them all day. Today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about leveraging the 3 V's of data storytelling for data management. So there's a different part of this. I'm going to talk through kind of the 2 types of data storytelling, but this is obviously my focus. And again, all about the soft skills. So, there we go. Oh, the story. How did I meet? So Caroline and Peter had this launch party for their book, Data-Driven Business Transformation, a couple years ago in London. And I was at another data conference that I was chairing, and I heard about this party. I had never met them. I saw them present. They were awesome. And I decided to crash the party. So I showed up. You can see there if you can. I'm not even wearing my own badge. Stuart Squires with Comma Group, who told me about the party, didn't show up. So I grabbed his badge. I'm right there between the 2 honored speakers and just moved my way in. We've been fast friends ever since. But part of what I love about the both of them is I feel like we are inextricably linked at the philosophical level in terms of talking about the power and value of data in very straightforward business relatable ways. So what I'll take you through today, a little bit about my data story, why you should even believe what I'm talking about, why you need a data story, the relevance of data management, considering all these other big, huge macro, or as Caroline might call it, whizzy bang things going on, the 2 types of data storytelling, leveraging these 3 V's, as I call them, obviously a knowing wink to the 3 V's of big data, vocabulary, voice, and vision or mind, and then putting it all in play. I'll give you some examples. Everything I'm talking about is in my book. I only have 27 minutes left, so I can't cover everything. So I'm going to go really fast at the high level, and we'll go from there. I'm not going to teach you anything about how to do this. I am just going to give you some nuggets, some tips, some twists of phrase to help you maybe get a new way to talk about what you already know. Already know how to do this data management part. How do we talk about it in the business side so people understand it? Now, every enterprise has a data story to tell, and it's about why managing your data is of strategic importance to your organization. Now, you know that. I know that. But the people who don't go to data summer school, they don't know that. All the other people at that table that Caroline and Peter showed you, they don't always understand it. And we have to compete for their attention, for stakeholder involvement, for C-level engagement, for funding. You need the money. We got to get the money to support this kind of data activity. And if we can't tell a compelling story to reach out, as Caroline says, to the hearts and minds of those other leaders, we're not going to get there. They're just going to think it's an internal back office, clerical data technology thing. Why do I even need to care about it? So we got to tell a story. Now, pretty quick here, I divide the data space to give you an idea of my thinking in 2 big buckets, truth and meaning. Now, you need to determine the truth first in data before you derive meaning out of analytics. Obviously, I'm on the truth team, hence the meaning of my truth hat here, but you've got to do truth first. It's not chicken or egg. It is egg and omelet. Truth before meaning. And I don't mean anything personal. Some people take this and think, oh, it's this kind of personal journey, our own Zen-like approach to what's the meaning of life and is there really any truth? This is business, people. This is enterprise. You can find the truth. You can manage the truth. You can handle the truth in your organization. And as data leaders, that's one of the key parts of your role. How do you create, steward, govern, manage that trusted content that the rest of the organization is going to take all their activity off of? So a little bit more about me. As they mentioned, spoiler alert, even though I'm the data whisperer, I don't do a lot of whispering. We got to yell, tell, and sell the power of data management. I provide what I call data evangelism as a service, a way to get people excited about the work that we do. I am the why, not the how. I can't teach you anything about how to do it. I focus on the why. And one thing I know from all my experience in talking to more than my share of senior leaders, They don't care about the how until they understand the why. I've worked 25 years or so in the data space for some iconic data brands, Nielsen, Dun & Bradstreet, WPP, and Kantar. And I do a whole bunch of content. So if you did your homework, you already watched Too Much Tech Talk, my puppet show starring the CDO, the Chief Dog Officer, and the ITB who speaks nothing in buzzwords. I posted a cartoon about the superhero backstory of master data, the most important data any organization has. I'm in the who's who of data management. And actually, if you Google master data, the first hit that comes up in YouTube is my video, What is Master Data? And I think I'm kind of hardwired for kind of the structured ontology, taxonomy kind of the part of the space, because my parents told me as a kid, instead of building with my Lego, I sorted it. I'm sure some of you sorted your Lego when you were kids as well. We saw that picture that Peter used last week about sorting Lego. You can't build those beautiful Lego castles till you got all that stuff sorted and structured. Now, what inspired me as part of why I should write this book was I was listening to the market and all this talk I heard about data science, data literacy, and data storytelling. Where's the voice of data management? I didn't hear it. I heard a lot about analytics. I didn't hear a lot about data management. And so I felt I had to write this book. Telling your data story, data storytelling for data management, right on there, 99% buzzword free. That's a guarantee I can guarantee. I didn't want to overpromise here, but I really tried to put this in a very accessible business-like manner. One of my favorite comments in Amazon, a must read for anybody who needs funding in data management, and proud to say I am the #1 data book in Amazon in performing arts. Let me explain that. Through some sort of bizarre AI-based categorization process, Amazon put my book in a number of categories, including performing arts. So there I am, ranked number 88 between Renaissance polyphony and Suzuki violin playing. That makes me the only data book in performing arts, which makes me the #1 data book. So you can make analytics do anything you want to. I got this really disturbing 1-star review. Nothing about data storytelling. It's about data management. That person didn't even read the whole cover of the book. It says right on there, data storytelling for data management. Whoops. So when I looked at McKinsey posted something last year that I found interesting as well, which was an idea of the 6 ways to drive data governance excellence. And if you take a look at these 6, secure top management's attention, integrate with primary transformational themes, and generate excitement about data, you got to have a story to do that. That doesn't happen by just showing a bunch of charts and graphs and showing your, API design and all the rest of the technical stuff. You've got to tell a story, reach out and connect with these folks emotionally about the power and value of what data can bring to the organization. And only storytelling can do that. Now, all the macro trends going on here, a lot of things that are on the transformational themes of a lot of executives. Whether you jumped into e-commerce last year because of COVID, suddenly you didn't have the product data that you needed to do that. If you're working on know your customer or account-based marketing programs, who isn't dealing with data privacy regulations all over the world? If you're trying to transition your business model from selling your widgets to licensing the value of your widgets as a service, very strategic initiative. If you're doing digital transformation, working on the Internet of Things, or in the 4th industrial revolution, every one of these takes technology to happen. Technology, very simply, hardware, software, data. If you have data, you need data management. So for me, data management is macro trend agnostic. No matter what these bubbles were filled with 5 years ago, no matter what they are today, no matter what's coming in 5 or 10 years, if it has to do with technology, you're going to need data management to get there. So no matter where your organization is going, it's your job to show that data management, as well as all the other things you're going to learn this summer, is directly related to where your company is trying to get to, and you can help them do it. So the truth about data management is the value of every digitally transformative customer experience, every as-a-service offering, every foray into e-commerce, every enterprise software implementation is inextricably linked to the successful output of your data management efforts. No two ways about it. You're welcome to quote me on that. Now, that's just a super long-winded, fancy way of saying G-I-G-O, garbage in, garbage out, rubbish in, rubbish out, maybe goodness in, goodness out. This old saw we all know, but does it drive any kind of action? I like to try and elevate this concept to the idea of the golden rule of data. Do unto your data as you would have it do unto you. What you put into data management is what you get out of business intelligence. You put bad data into ERP, you get a lousy ERP. Bad data into CRM, missed customer experiences. Bad data into FinTech, you'll get a visit from the regulators. Bad data into ML, bad robots. Bad data into BI, BS. Bad data into AI, AS, artificial stupidity. No matter how you slice it or how you dice it, the golden rule of data prevails. Do unto your data as you would have it do unto you. Here's another version of this for the UK audience. I like to save it for your UK folks out there. If this is your data management, make do and mend, then expect this from business intelligence. Compute, it says now. A little Britain shout out there for all you TV fans. Or a way I like to say it as well, good decisions made on bad data are just bad decisions you don't know about yet. Now, the topic of today, data storytelling, probably the hottest non-technical thing going on in the data space today. Lots and lots of activity about it. A lot of books written about data storytelling. I took a look at all of them, or most of them, and I noticed they were all about analytics, about business intelligence, about taking data and analytics, putting it in a business context to help drive action. Super important. You got to have it. Visualization, all those other wonderful things. But as usual, being from the data management side, I went, where's our story? Where's our book? So I decided to write it. So as far as I'm concerned, there are two types of data storytelling right now. One for business intelligence and analytics, the other one for data management and actually the data content itself. So diving a little deeper, that analytics data story encompasses things that you do with data literacy, data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, visualization, all those important aspects of getting and having the business understand the value of that actual data itself. And then the other one, determining the truth, data governance, data quality, master data, reference data, metadata, MDM, RDM, PIM, DAM, all those foundational activities that create, curate, steward, distribute, and build that trusted content that makes all those other technology-enabled things go. You got to have both. So these two types of data storytelling, one with data for analytics and business intelligence about using it, the other about the data for data management and making it. Every enterprise needs to tell both of these stories. It's not Sophie's choice here. You got to do them both. Now, starting your data story, let me knock down a couple of the old cliches because I feel like we've got to change the nature of how we talk about this. A lot of the things we've been using for decades just simply aren't working. How can I tell? You're still frustrated. We're still talking about some really basic communication stuff. And so we got to change the nature of how we talk about what we're doing. First one I'll knock right off there. Don't run up and try and get your CEO convinced that one of your top business objectives is higher data quality. Data quality, as important as it is, you got to manage it, you got to measure it, but it doesn't sell. People don't get excited about that. You talk to your business leaders about data quality, they're like, why are you bothering me with that? It's an emotional, subjective term. They will certainly, if they're listening, turn around and go, why do we need high data quality? That's your answer. You know why. You've got to do those customer initiatives. You've got digital transformation. You've got whatever other kinds of corporate themes are going on and trends and activities. That's why you need it. You're rolling out CRM. You're rolling out ERP. Start with the why. Don't start with this thing called data quality, as important as it is, because it doesn't connect it to some sort of business direction. Save it internally for your own department. Another one I hate, and I know Caroline and Peter are with me with this, data's the new oil. Talk about not reading the whole thing. If you use this graphic ever, get rid of it. This is not a positive positioning of data. Now, we can argue all we want about, is data oil? Is it not? Is it fungible? Is it reusable? All those kinds of things. The problem is there's so much debate about what this means that it makes it bad poetry. The reason to use imagery is to shortcut the distance to understanding. And if you and your peers don't even agree on what this means, how are the people in the audience going to understand it at all? So, didn't know, say no to didn't know. When people ask me, is data the new oil? I say no, it's neither. And one more point here, this particular graphic, which sticks in my craw, if you read it, the headline is, the world's most valuable resource is no longer oil, but data. Take a look at the subhead. The data economy demands a new approach to antitrust rules. This article, which appeared in The Economist a couple of years ago, was about the power that these major social platforms are starting to gain because they have control of data. Is that a positive story about data in your organization? No. Say no to didn't know. And one more cliche I hear all the time. There's more data now than ever before. There's more data in the last 2 weeks than the history of man. There's more data now than when I started to say there's more data now than ever before. Again, is that relevant to your organization? Do people care? The first 5 minutes of your discussion are the most important. These old stories need to change. So when you think about kind of your persona, how are you going to approach this? You've got that time. You've got the board ready. You're all set to do your big presentation on why they should be investing more in data management. Who are you? Are you Hans Christian Andersen telling a wonderful fable? There once was some ugly data. No more singing, don't worry. Or are you Don Draper? Don Draper's a personal hero of mine from Mad Men. What he did at work, not what he did at home. That's a different story. But no one could pitch like Don Draper. You guessed it. You're Don, you're not Hans. You've got to put together a pitch. It's a selling process. And if some of you bristle a little bit on the idea of sales, one, I've got a whole bunch of sales tips in the book, but two, selling itself is convincing somebody of the benefits of what you have to offer. Nothing more important than that. You've got to convince those folks to take action on what you're doing. Attract their attention, build their interest, nurture their desire, and take some sort of action. So the type of story you are telling about data management to get funding is a pitch. Some people like to start with quoting some of the big analysts. I love this. As great as Gartner is, here's something they posted. Organizations measuring the value of master data. 90% said, no, we don't measure it. 10% said other. I'm assuming yes is an other. Or do you run in and start using terminology that you understand but nobody else does? March into your CEO's office and say, we need a golden record. And they think, well, that sounds expensive. Again, the kind of terminology we use in the data space isn't always relevant and understandable to the business audience. This cartoon's in the book, inspired by Peter and Caroline. I put some cartoons in mine as well. Or do you start like this? Here it is, our enterprise data model. We worked all year on this. It's spectacular. This is a great way to get kicked out of the CEO's office. You think they care about this? This is 100% how. Of course, you got to have it. It's important, but there's no why on here. Keep the technical stuff to yourself. This is the business we're talking to. So every business has that data story, and where it starts is with the essence of your business, the purpose of your enterprise, why you do what you do. And every business that I've ever had the fortunate chance to talk to and work with, they are trying to provide value to their relationships through their brands at scale. That's what you're doing. Provide value to your relationships through your brands at scale. Scale is your opportunity. Scale means technology. Technology needs hardware, software, data. If you have data, you need data management. Straightforward as that. But where organizations try to scale what they do, you've got to get into all those kinds of conversations. Value, there's only 3 ways a company finds value. Grow the business, improve the business, protect the business. Grow the business, increase sales, improve the business, operational efficiency, protect the business, mitigate risk. These things, data can do all 3 of them. Tell me another department that can do all three of those things. And with a well-stewarded master file, you can do all three of them sometimes with the same record. There isn't another department in the organization that provides that kind of horizontal value. Now, to make this more relevant to your business, start filling in the blanks. When we say relationships, what is it? Customer, vendor, partner, prospect, citizen, patient, client. They're all relationships, different types. We have different names for those relationships based on the sector we are in, but they're all relationships. And if you don't have relationships, you don't have a business. Every enterprise has brands as well. They could be products, services, offerings, locations, banners, finished goods that are made up with materials and different ingredients. All these different piece parts that you might have to have in your organization, but all of those are brands and they bring value to their relationships. Now, if you do master data in any way, you probably recognize that these blue and green words are actually classic master data domains. So when you take a look at trying to provide value to your relationships through your brands at scale, how's the data you got on that stuff? How's the data on relationships? How's your brand data? Is it any good? Do you have the data to back up those ideas? Now, these 3 V's that I talk about, vocabulary, voice, and vision, let me take you through them. So the first one, establish an accessible vocabulary. The words you use are important. I already suggested that. This legacy lexicon of quality, again, super important, doesn't make a great pitch. Cleansing, freshness, hygiene. You want to clear a room of stakeholders? Tell them they're going to be part of a data hygiene program. They'll go running for the door. Those words are ad hoc. They're technical, they're back office, they're clerical, they're boring. You've got to use strategic terminology. How do we how are we trying to enable interoperability between our partners? We have to set a data standard for our organization. We're trying to structure the information we have. These kinds of things I found resonate more with people who don't know anything about data because they understand the word structure. Think about the words you use for relationships, offerings, hierarchies, segmentations, geographies. I've got a video I think I gave everybody called the 4 C's of master data, a very simple way to describe data structure that's important for every organization. Those relate to those as well. And use your industry nomenclature. Your organization belongs probably to some sort of trade association. They've probably published terms that make sense already to the business. And here's a little vocabulary tip. If you've done the hard work to put together a business glossary and get consensus about what is a customer, what is a brand, what is a market, that's the kind of terms that people already understand. And you're trying to operationalize those. The second V is harmonize to a common voice. And harmony doesn't mean everybody sings the same notes, but it does mean they sound great together. Do you have an elevator pitch about why data management is so important? Do you? If your CEO said, all right, tell me why, not because it's threatening, but just because they want to understand it, can you tell them that in a succinct way? You got to get that going. If you want to be a data leader, you have to be able to communicate these important concepts in a simple, direct way. Simple doesn't mean easy. How few words can you use to describe what you're trying to talk about? You want to avoid those in-depth technical explanations, those cliched false starts. You need a consistent tone and tenor. You may create your own internal communication vehicles. I've helped companies do this where they do a data hero of the month, or they find somebody from sales and promote them about what they've done with data to help the other salespeople understand it. You got to build that consensus. Again, horizontal value across all those different verticals. You may have to put together a whole internal marketing program. Analogies are good. The data oil thing aside, using analogies, metaphors, imagery helps people understand more quickly. And if you're searching for that, use your own company, your own positioning. Take your company's slogan and put the word data in there somewhere, see if it works. If you're a healthcare company, data is the lifeblood of our organization. A healthy business runs off healthy data. I watched a guy present from the Department of Defense in the US. He said data is the payload for our organization. We can't all use that, but it worked for him. Here's an example I did this week for a major bakery They were bringing in their sales folks and trying to explain to them the strategic importance of data management. This was the simplified view. I took the brands out of it, but their objective was pretty much summed up by, we need results at scale. I symbolized that by a wonderful sandwich. I got 100% agreement that you can't make a sandwich without bread. That group certainly understand that. And bread is made through all their systems. That's their baking process. But you can't make bread if you don't have quality ingredients. They needed the flour, the yeast, the water, and so on. It had to be measured out appropriately. That recipe had to be something that they could repeat. So data is their flour, systems was the baking process, and the end result was a wonderful sandwich. So another voice tip for you. You want to seek out other storytellers in your business, in marketing, in sales, in communication, folks who actually tell stories for a living. They can help you with some of those soft skills. And I'm sure they'd love to. If you've got a big enough company and you've got a corporate communications department, a lot of them have resources to help people with those soft skills. And the reverse also, remember, you're going to be competing with marketing and sales sometimes for money. And those people really know how to tell a story. You can't tell a story in sales. You don't make quota. So find those folks who can help you put that soft skill stuff together. Finally, you want to illuminate the business vision, and everything you do in data management as well as analytics needs to enable the strategic intentions of your enterprise. Where is your company trying to go? To figure that out, listen to what your leaders say about the major initiatives. Again, they're not going to say data quality is important. That's what we want to do. They're going to talk about relationships. They're going to talk about brands. Map that to the need for better data about those. And a little vision tip, if you're looking for that formal view of what your company is trying to do, take a look at your annual report, your strategy statement. Look at the first couple slides of a company meeting. Investor Day presentations are a tremendous gold mine of information about your own company. You are part of the business too. It is impossible for you to know too much about your own business. And you'll find data problems everywhere that you can solve if you look hard enough. Now let's put it all in play here in the last couple minutes. Let me show you an actual example. So I took an Investor Day presentation from a global 200 company on Fortune 500. And this is someone I actually put this in front of them. We did this work for them. They had done the ROI. They had figured out their technology roadmap. They'd done the business use cases, but they were having trouble, again, kind of capturing the excitement about it. Why was this so mission critical? Everything is running fine. Well, we took a look at this, and this is kind of a composite of their Investor Day presentation. But the first thing was, all right, let's find the 3 V's. Vision. Where is it? It's right there. It says our vision right on the slide. We aspire to be the premier partner of choice for our customers and suppliers. Relationships. Right there, isn't it? The voice, that was embedded in all their work around customer engagement, enterprise effectiveness, brand management, grow, improve, protect. They wanted differentiated customer experiences. They're looking to localize productivity and efficiency. Any of this sound familiar? Lots of activity behind those scenes that need good data to make it happen. And finally, their vocabulary was certainly all through these company fast facts. This company grew by acquisition. They were in 90 countries. Can you imagine all the ERP systems, CRM systems, disparate data, no standards all through that organization? Some people say an acquisition isn't finished until the data is integrated. 800 suppliers, 100,000 customers, all kinds of hierarchy and definitional problems in there, and the terms that they used. This is all wonderful. They said, but so what? So we had to give them the data reality. You've got to find your bad data and stick it in somebody's face and let them know this is the problem. In this case, I'll show you a single record example. We took their customer master, bounced it against the external database, and found in this case, they had 185 copies of the same record. Nothing strategic about that. That is the definition of garbage in. You think any of their salespeople ever searched before they created? Probably not. So the punchline here, how could you possibly aspire to be the premier partner of choice with Panasonic Mobile Communications when you got 185 copies of their record? It's a mess. So you've got to balance that kind of brutal reality with the visionary statements and say, you know what? I don't think we have the data to back up these ideas. We got to work on it more. So leveraging the 3 V's of data storytelling, vocabulary, the words you use, voice the way you talk, and the vision, why it's important. And here's a great quote from Richard Powers, a novelist. The best arguments in the world won't change a person's mind. The only thing that can do that is a good story. So living happily ever after here. Every enterprise has a data story to tell. It's about delivering value to your relationships through your brands at scale. 2 types of data storytelling out there. One about data, data management, determining the truth, and one with data, business intelligence, deriving meaning. You need to balance the how and why. I was 100% on the why today, but you do need to know how you do it. You got to have some steak with the sizzle. It's a balance in there. You want to avoid those false starts. High data quality. We need better data quality. Didn't know. And so much data, I can't believe it. These things don't resonate anymore. Leverage, if that works for you, this informal framework of the 3 V's, vocabulary, voice, and vision, and an effective narrative will capture the hearts and minds of your business. And it will actually help unify and motivate your team. Your entire data team needs to understand deeply the strategic nature of the work they do. People get more excited and more satisfaction when they realize the stuff they're doing in data stewardship, in data management, and just keeping all that stuff clean in the back room helps the company get to where it needs to go. The last page in my book, I'm not giving away any secret endings here. Hardware comes and goes, software comes and goes, data remains. Well, thank you very much. Let me help you tell your data story if you like. If you're interested in the book, please take a look at Technics Publications. That's the site. You can get it from Amazon too. But if you use my coupon code Data Whisperer, you'll save 20%. If you liked any of this and you want to follow me on LinkedIn, put your phone up to that QR code. It'll take you right to my profile. Talk about being a data guy. And I've got all kinds of videos on YouTube as well if you want to take a look at that. If any of these things help you make a point, validate your position, some way help you illuminate someone else about what you're trying to say, please use it.